There is no fighting chance for any kind of progressive legislation for women, for minorities, or for the environment. And 4 years from now, people will again act like the Democrats are worse than Republicans. Many of those same people will probably be branded card-carrying members of QAnon, whose influence is only growing and becoming more mainstream. Wealthy Republican donors are helping elect QAnon conspiracy theorists like Marjorie Taylor Greene of Georgia to Congress. These wealthy donors include the chairman of the board of the Heritage Foundation and groups connected to the White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows and his wife. At the time of me filming this video, it's just been announced that Greene's Democratic opponent has just dropped out of the race, making her road to Congress basically guaranteed. Marjorie Taylor Greene has compared Black Lives Matter to the KKK, said Muslims shouldn't work in the government, and pushes the absolutely baseless theory that Trump is battling against pedophilic child trafficking Democrats and celebrities. In the coming months, there will be more people, especially black ones, falling into QAnon conspiracies, ignoring that the internet cult's declaration to save the children was born in racist Nazi chat rooms. I can't predict exactly how this will play out in politics, but I expect it to embolden more black conservatives to push regressive economic policies that benefit the wealthy, while they act like anybody against doing so are at best wet-ass pussy sex work is work deviants, or at worst, pedophiles and traffickers of children. They won't address how their calls for business deregulations and rounding up undocumented citizens worsen sex trafficking and contributes to the even more common condition of labor trafficking. They'll blame the gays and the whores and the liberals. And going back to that thing I just said about Democrat candidates not calling for abolishing the police, you can bet your fucking bottom dollar that the moment they do, Republicans who hate Black Lives Matter protesters and QAnon adherents who believe Democrats endorse pedophilia will swarm. Centrists, easily won over by misinformation and conspiracies, God, that's a lot of people, will join the Republicans in droves. In short, expect the sexual abuse of children, often ignored or excused in familial settings or religious groups like Mormons, the Amish, and evangelicals, to become another tool of the culture war that lends to the power of the conservative right. So what is the reality we have to face? Centrist Democrats are either malevolent or playing by the rules of the political game by compromising with those across the aisle. Progressive Democrats are damned to demand things that will be misconstrued and weaponized, but they also have to play along with the political game to maintain their position, while also always at risk of being discarded as traitors by constituents who don't feel they are radical or moderate enough. Meanwhile, actual calls for revolution and a destruction of the binary political parties will continue to fall on deaf ears because many people do not care about classism, or they are too invested in conspiracy theories, religious order, racism, and misogyny. All the while, Republicans who suck wholeheartedly will lie, steal elections, and promote bigotry and poverty because its constituents will never hold the parties to the same standards that say leftists do to potential allies or representatives. Some of those same leftists would rather put up with another 4 years of Trump and the ensuing consequences rather than concede a victory to the moderate Biden. I really fear for the future if right-wing power continues to grow, and at this rate it will, mainly in the arenas of housing, cost of living, women's rights, and climate change. My head hurts and I'm tired. I don't want to say we're doomed, but we might be doomed. No matter what happens in November, shit is about to be contentious. If Trump wins, people are going to be pissed. If Trump loses, people are going to be pissed. No matter what happens, I'm not ready. So enjoy this time we got now, because shit's about to be kicked in overdrive. First of all, the sheer amount of misinformation, in addition to the dissenting opinions...
Hey, what's happening, y'all? aronmsound here. Welcome to Look Up, the show where I interject myself into a conversation that not a single person asked me to be a part of, and thereby extending it and reacting to it and doing silly things with it and playing some music all the while. Let's see how long the iPad lasts tonight. Thanks for being here. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you watch more than one of my videos, then and you haven't liked and subscribed, well then, hey, we probably have meatloaf together. Meaning, you know, I don't want to say I got beef with you, because nobody likes somebody else's brand. All right, we've got things to get into. Let me change this up and get into the actual show here. Sorry, I was just watching some intellectual. Awesome. She's fantastic. She's actually a professor of history from Ohio, and her knowledge of modern American Black history and just history in general is she should be on PBS. She's amazing. Anyhow, the History Channel. Somebody give her a deal. Somebody. All right. Getting dings, getting stuff. Make sure if you want to call in, the Zoom is live and open. Happy to share videos, share your thoughts. Hang on out with me if you're just catching on up. Today, there's a lot in the news. I was going to get to this earlier today, but unfortunately, the audio did me wrong. It did me wrong. And so I'm going to get to my whole plan now. Let me see here. Hold on a second.
This basically sounds like reform to me and hardened abolitionists, but hey, the dismantling.
There we are. All right, sorry, I got a list in my hand. I got things going on. It's always good to make sure that your audio is like. Yeah, we're good. We're good to go. All right. So yeah, let me get the list happening. Banging with the audio. All right, what is my list from earlier? What am I doing for a show today? Oh, there it is. All right, let's take a look. If you're not familiar with her, make sure to like and subscribe. Intellectual, she's fantastic. And let me get up here to the old window and see if I can.
Then there's the other faction who believe that we literally do not need police because they protect racist and classist interests and have historically done so.
Let's get over to what the drama is. Hey, what's happening? Welcome. So good to see you, Jude. What's going on? Late night watching with Jude. I see Jude.
So police abolitionism in its purest goals.
Okay, so it's the easy way to watch YouTube. Plus, then you got me sitting here talking smack about it, right? All right. Send it around. Send it around. We need phone calls. People yell at me. I can yell at people. Just talk, or we can just, I don't know. You can also share things on the video, the Zoom. It's also fantastic. Let me get over to where I was going. Oh, yeah, the drama around the Pearlyverse. If you're not familiar with the Pearlyverse, this is Auntie Jenny. And Auntie Jenny is the elder matriarch of a group of people that talk about like relationships and stuff. They're over in the UK. The girl who runs the whole program is named Pearl. I don't know if you're familiar with her, but Pearl basically has kind of a controversial show because she's basically pushing this Andrew Tate, Kevin Samuels line of theory, and the way that we're good on the beat. Let's lay the bass down, right? Woo! Hold on a second. Let's give it a little more of a musical. Oh, yeah. Yeah, because that's the right kind of vibe for what's about to happen here. All right. So it's a little angsty, so put your trigger hats on. If your trigger hat isn't on, you can't deflect the trigger. All right. So put your trigger hats on, everybody. So we're about to see some trigger. What has gone down is that there is some infighting over a set of interviews that happened some weeks ago that I was watching when it went down in real time. I and several other YouTubers all went hog wild and basically said, yo, these people are having, essentially this person's boss is having a right-wing extremist named Fuentes on their program, and she didn't know how to speak or talk or interview the guy in any way, shape, or form. And she didn't give him any pushback. And it started with denying the Holocaust, and then it got followed up with saying that that slavery wasn't so bad, and then it got followed up with, I mean, just one thing after the other. It was just bad after bad after bad. And even worse, Pearl has mostly Africans who work for her. So
let's go and see about Sarah.
All right, hold on a second. Let's see if this will come up here.
All I want to know is why. Why, Sarah? Now you're showing pictures. I was alright until you mentioned my name.
Got a little bit of a. Might have to restart this. Hold on a second.
Like I'm under some kind of slave master.
Yeah. No. Okay. So you can already get an idea of what's about to go down. Plus, you got the cognac in her hand, Isn't that great? She got the cognac. That's cool. I mean, they were like, you know what, Auntie Jenny, let's have you get loose. Just get loose and tell them what you think, Auntie. And she sure did.
Ow.
So let me get over to this here, to the right spot. I want to get to the right spot.
Right? Because you and me are in nothing. Whatever you and Pearl's got, you and Pearl's got. Nobody else will mention my name, but you want to come and mention my name. Do not mention my name. Man up. Don't just dress up like a black man when you want people to be there, and then you...
Okay. You got the idea what's about to go down. Hold on a second. This is rough, folks. Yeah, if I could just get the video to play nice with me. There it is. Okay. Yeah, the internet is not being kind to me right now. All right. So, Pearl had Fuentes on. Couple days later, she had a lot of guests on. Most of her guests are African Americans or black, and in a lot of these cases, it's she just has a group of people sit around and talk to one another, and they talk about their experiences and their dating and such. And in this case, she interviewed Fuentes, who is a known racist, right before she had this whole group of people on that she's connected to in the same vein. And okay, so I'm going off without explaining what's really happening here with Auntie Jenny. Auntie Jenny is one of the first people that Pearl has pulled into her universe, and then there's another gentleman named King Riches, and we'll get to King Riches in a minute. He's like the anger side, but this is like Auntie Pearl, as you can tell. She's an advisor. She gives relationship advice, and that's what most of this is relationship advice. But then Pearl decides that she was going to bring on Nick Fuentes and just not know how to interview him and not know how to push back, and just basically giggled about things that were really inappropriate. So, this little fire amongst her guests that came on the week later, but they didn't find out until after they had already gone home that had happened days before they were there. So, it upset a lot of those people because, of course, she said slavery wasn't so bad, is what she said. I was watching, that's what she said. And, well, we can watch the video in a minute, but, or in a half an hour, whatever. Anyways, so, yeah, Auntie Jenny is now responding to Sarah Garvey. Sarah Garvey is Pearl's old partner. And he kind of disappeared from the scene. We didn't know why. So I'm playing this backwards in the story. I'm not going in linear order on purpose so that we can go from the reaction to what Sarah actually said and what the result has been, because there's new news revolving around Sarah Garvey. And good for him about the news, and bad for him. So we'll get to that in a minute. First, let's hear the response to what he said, even though you don't know what he said, from Auntie Jenny.
Have you seen my contract? Do you know whether I've got a contract or not? So when you're talking about Auntie Jenny, talk about what you know. Talk about what you've seen. Don't talk about what you don't know. Right? And I always tell Pearl, be careful about who's around you, because not everybody that says they're your friend are your friend. And she's stupid and naive, and she trusts people like how she trusts you. And look what you're going to do. What? Because she won't pay you a salary. Because she won't pay...
So that's something to note right away. First off, she got a little drink on. She got a little sideways, maybe. She got a little fire. Maybe she's not sideways. She's not drunk, clearly, but she's feeling it there, and she's airing out the business right there. But it was already aired out, so you know. But she is saying something in response without saying anything. And I want to point that out right now, that she's not actually saying anything. She's just being mad. And after we watch Sarah's video, I think you'll realize why she's mad. And I feel for her, because this is probably she seems like a very nice lady, actually. I see her talk to people. She's very concerned about them. She has people's best intentions at heart. But I also see that she's maybe caught into this little scene of pride and such. And she has a lot of pride. And I also see that in the scenario, as we go through this, you'll notice that not a single person is mentioning the denial of the Holocaust or the anti-Semitism. That's just like, oh yeah, of course. It's like, whoa, okay. Yes, I understand there's other things involved too. I'm the one who was appalled at everything. I wasn't just appalled at one thing or the other. I was appalled at everything. And still am appalled because of what's been going down.
your salary. How do you expect to make money when somebody else ain't making no money? Right? You can't tell me how many hours I do, because I come in here for about 4 hours a day. I come in here, I sit down, and I go home. That is it. And that's for the party. And you want to take private videos of people at the party, right? What?
Okay, so what I find interesting there is you'll find out that the video that we're about to watch with Sarah has some party video in it that's very, well, let's say, illuminating. It lets you know kind of the behind the scenes view of what's going on in the Pearlyverse. Just a brief snap of it. But the reason he shared it is because somebody else at the party had been filming the entire thing. And that's what he was trying to point out, is that there's somebody else in the picture that we may not be so aware of, but they're driving agenda in the story. And so that's really why he was filming. So I think it's a red herring that she would point this out in any case. But we'll find out soon how much of a red herring once we watch this video.
What were you doing at the party? Who was you there with? Because all of a sudden you turned up and you're looking really like, you know what I mean? Like, you're one of these strong black men, you know what I mean? You're wearing your black today.
By the way, if you haven't already liked and subscribed, please do so. And make sure, if you feel like sharing or talking about this, I'll interrupt at any moment. I'll take a call. It's free to you. And same with the like and subscribe. It's free, which is unlike everything else in the frickin' world. So yeah, and it benefits me, gets me out in the algorithm, and spins me around. If you want people to hear my voice, then that's the thing to do. Make sure to like and subscribe and share. Anyways, so yeah, you can feel free to call in if you like, if you got the capability. All right.
And you're wearing your little gold pendant, your little tiny gold pendant. I need a magnifying glass to go and see. But yeah, you're representing the blacks, innit?
What does that have to do with anything?
Now, I always thought that you were a man that followed
classy.
Kevin Samuels.
What?
God rest his soul. Right, Kevin Samuels.
Okay, if you're not familiar with Kevin Samuels, brief explanation. Let me mansplain to you. In the character of Chad Chatterton, Kevin Samuels. Excuse me. Chad. Yo, bro, playing Roblox. Give me just 1 second. Look at you, bro. All right? Look at you. What up, people? Chad Chatterton, as you well know, gonna explain to you about Kevin Samuels, well-dressed man, probably pretty femmy, but man, he knew the femmes. Kevin Samuels would take phone calls, tell women they're bitches, and that they need to grow less of an ass. Also, that they couldn't get the man they wanted because they're kind of a hoe at the bottom of the scale, but he'd tell them they weren't real, so make a sandwich, get in the kitchen, be barefoot, and be better, more beautiful. That's what he'd tell them. That was basically Kevin Samuels' whole thing. All right? Okay, cool. Is this mic on? You can find me at Reddit at Demon Bumpy Engorged Foreskin, Dragon Foreskin at I'm sorry, I'm playing a lot of Roblox. All right, I gotta hand it back over. Okay. Yeah, that's checked. Explaining nothing and a lot at the same time. So, oh, that's the side that doesn't have the logo on it. Hold on a second. All right. Sorry. Angry Aunt Jenny. Angry Auntie. She got that little yak in her hand. Okay, she's about to go into this whole thing about like. By the way, how's the sound out there now that Demon Bumpy Foreskin just screamed at you? Demon Bumpy Foreskin. I'm trying to collect that at everywhere, so don't take it, folks. Okay. Don't take it away. Don't take it away from me. If you want to get me a present, get that for me on 4chan so I can never use it. It's awesome. Demon Bumpy and Gorge. What? Okay, sorry. We've got the audio working. The audio working, everybody? Everything's happening? You hear the beat? Or am I just like floating to nothing? I don't know. All right. Alright, well, let me see. Oh, sorry, Annie Jenny. We were paying attention to Annie Jenny. I'm telling you a story. We're reviewing.
Turn up. Look how you're dressed now to suit the black man. How do you normally turn up in your Primark shoes? Tell them how you turn up. Tell them how you turn up at the thing. Ask them what you didn't want to tell them what you had to say.
Primark shoes are like Payless.
Oh, it's China for real. Is this guy really for real? Or is he? You want to?
I wear some Primark.
You know he's a real
comfy ass shoes.
Whoever he says he is.
Working man.
Tell them about the drink that you brought.
Okay, this is really weird. This is where it's like, okay, so what is what he drinks have to do with anything? Let me make sure I'm not getting dinged. Everybody's getting dinged for the pearly stuff right now. So, yeah, what is with what he brought to the party? And by the way, what he brings to the party, in my opinion, is pretty manly. What he brings to the party, you catch this.
Any black man you know that brings a drink, what drink did they bring to a party? Right? You had Rolito that brought his cognac. What did you bring? What did you bring to educate the young people?
Okay.
I think you want to go and
Oh, I'm sorry. I just talked right over it. She says, what did you bring to educate the young people? And her answer was port. That's pretty educational if you think about it, because who drinks port? Oh, it's a very actually popular thing over in Europe. It's more... oh! There's a short from Erudite.
We're older than ever before, and we're less youthful than ever getting married. And we have more bodies than ever.
Wow, where'd you find this one?
So we bring less to the table.
Okay, so if you're not familiar, not so Erudite, she's a young lady who's...
Is that burnt?
Oh my god, it's fully burnt. Yeah. Okay.
Nobody's cookbooks anymore.
Yeah.
It's called your phone. You have apps where you save the best recipes.
Yeah.
What are women bringing to the table? Well, weird, because it seems to be the case that even though women are fatter, have a higher body count, and are, I don't know if she thinks like less attractive, therefore, men still desire them at a really high rate, to the point that we have incels and lonely men everywhere. And so if you're saying women aren't bringing anything to the table, then my question is, why are all these men still chasing them? And is it possible that nobody's bringing much to the table because people are really, really bad at relationships now?
Men value purity and youth.
What
What men? Hey, hold on a second. I'm sorry. What men, Pearl? What men? Men that don't know how to deal with people. Okay. Erudite, like and subscriber. Her name is Not So Erudite. Make sure to get into it with her, because she's very smart. Oh yeah, the stream is still rocking right now. Okay. Let's get back in it. Awesome.
Right? And then what did you
I need
do?
to check
You
the
stand there,
message.
everybody's
Sorry.
drinking drinks, and you stand there with your port. And
Is that
what did you
the
do when
that's
you was
what the
leaving?
notification was.
You walked out the door and then you come back. Oh, because you forgot your bottle. So much of a man, you forgot your bottle. Now,
Well, that's so
please,
weird.
don't
Okay,
put
so
me
the
in
guy
your
forgets
mouth.
his bottle,
Do not say
and
things
now he's
about me
not a
that you
man.
do not know. You understand? I am retired. I have bought my own house. You know what I mean? I don't owe nobody nothing. I don't do this because I need the money. I do it because I got
But
nothing
you live
to
3
do
hours
because
away.
I'm retired. So don't come here looking like I'm working for some kind of some slave master, right? That I'm some kind of like I'm some kind of slave, because
Wait,
that's
hold on
not
a
me.
second.
That
I just realized something. When we watch this other video, I'm going to let you in on some news, but she just mentioned something right there that, wow, that is, remember that, folks. She just called him the slave and said she wasn't the slave. Wow. This is very telling. And if anybody at YouTube is watching right now, we got beef. Because, yeah. Just because of that. And, wow. Okay, I can't go any further because of the fact that just happened. I'm going to watch some more of this and then we'll get to Sarah's video.
that's not me, right? So you are just like MTR. You're bad-minded and you're bit.
MTR is mediocre tutorials and reviews, and he's actually a dope dude. He's got a great vibe. He's got a great show. He is pushing more of the fresh and fit stuff, but he's on the collegiate side. He's much more tamed on it. But he does have the Broham Chad view. He's just a lot more pleasant about it, essentially.
Bitter. Why? Because, oh yeah, you've helped her. And what has she done? What has she done? What has she done? Those that can't do better,
You tell us.
do better than her. You got so much do better than
See,
her.
okay, that's one of the things is, they don't have that they're struggling to actually have an answer to any of this stuff. Because when it all comes down, they always have the same thing of like, do better than, well, you try to do better than me. Challenge you. Yeah, well, okay. Well, Sarah did, actually. Okay, I'll let you in a little thing. In 2 days, Sarah earned an enormous 10,000 subscribers. It's astronomical. It took him over the 100,000 subscriber mark, which means that he gets a plaque and he has more legitimacy. Now, unfortunately, that's not the balance of this week is pretty wild. So I don't want to ruin anything, but yeah, I will say the good news. Sarah got over the 100,000 mark, and good for him, man. He's been on YouTube forever.
Don't ride on the coattails of her. Do better than her. That's what you should be doing. So
Ride on the coattails. Wow. So when Pearl got to the UK, she approached Sarah about doing YouTube and about bringing her style and things and working together with Sarah with his show style. So basically, she added herself into what Sarah was doing already. And yes, it changed because she brought a different flavor into it, but it was the pairing of the two on a regular that made the difference. It was also, if I'm not mistaken, Sarah's studio space, or at least the one that he had been using prior to her arrival.
And betraying somebody who thought that you were their friend, right? But all of a sudden you're there doing secret videos that you want to go and show everybody. Keep my
secret videos that you want to go and show everybody on YouTube. Was he supposed to include you in it? I don't think he would have wanted to be there. I'm sure he tried to reach out to you. Oh, I think she's saying secret because he didn't actually reach to anybody or talk to anybody, and that's probably because he was miffed at her in the first place for the business situation, which understandably so. Good golly. I mean, yeah. I'm not going to say anything because we'll find out. We're about to find out more. And it's an act of discovery today, moving backwards through time.
You know, as Will Smith said, keep my name out your mouth. Keep my name out your mouth. All right, Zara? Keep my name out of your mouth. Right? Because you and me are in nothing. Whatever you and Pearl's got. Nobody else will mention my name, but you want to come and mention my name. Do not mention my name. Man up. Don't just dress up like a black man when you want people to be there, and then in your £15 shoes. Your £15. Yes, I checked because I'm that kind of person. I'm institute. I looked inside and I saw.
She checked because she's petty. That's what she meant to say.
Primark. I'm wearing Marks and Spencers. You understand? And Pearl never paid for this. So I can't see how you would expect to get a salary. Yes, she pays for all of this. You know why? Because what people don't realise, I come in here and I sit down and I chat. Right? I chat. I come down on the way to my grandkids, or I might go and see my man, or I might go and see my friends. I come down here and I chat.
Okay, so I find it really interesting because, clearly she's in a business arrangement. She's there 4 days a week. She has a different story elsewhere in another video. So, you can go look at her channel. She does have great information, and she does tend to deal with delusional people very well, to be honest with you. She hits them the way you kind of always want to hit those people. But in this case, one of the things that is pretty telling is how she isn't really acknowledging. She isn't really acknowledging. And as we all know, when you're not really acknowledging, well, you know what's really going on, right? She's ignoring the truth of the fashion. She's just angry about it. So, it's kind of awkward and uncomfortable. So, yeah. Anyways, you like that second camera view? Yeah, I've been working on that. I'm so glad the audio is actually still rolling. Good deal. Probably gonna lose the iPad though, because I've been just working on this thing, just working the iPad like getting all up in them iPad labias. Sorry. Did I say that multiple? Like there's multiple of them? That's just weird. Innies or outies, you're good kids. All right. Oh, what are we doing? Angry Aunt Jenny. Oh yeah, we're looking for Sarah Garvey. Okay, so now we're gonna go to Sarah and see what he said that it just upset her so hard. This one right here. This one right here is a killer. 119,000 views in 2 days. Now, it doesn't beat Charlie's I Talked to Sneeko with 250,000 plus in I think it was 2 hours. He was doing over 100,000 views an hour. That's insane. Considering that at any given time, YouTube only has about 4 million viewers, believe it or not, and they are distributed across the platform. Now, as soon as you get over into Asia and stuff, that changes, but the firewalls and the separation between content storage and sharing is pretty extreme, actually. So if you're not in a loop where you're doing things like I am, where I'm playing with the algorithm to get strange things out of it, yeah, you won't see it. You won't see the things that are out there and possible. So now we're gonna go to Sarah Garvey and see what he has to say about the situation. I gotta fix my green screen coming up here soon.
Before we even get started,
Tell him.
if you have watched 2 or more of our videos, if you're not subscribed, then we have what?
Beef.
What do we have?
Beef.
Meatloaf.
Exactly, so you better get doing that right now. Before we even get
started, if you haven't liked and subscribed already, and you've been watching for at least 3 minutes, it's free. It's totally free. I swear to goodness, nobody except for YouTube will charge you. Unless you're watching with commercials, and that's fine too, because I was doing that until I needed to, watch the videos all the way through without commercials. Yeah, well, if you look at my earlier videos, I have commercials in them. Because anyhow.
started, all right?
All right, this is the sad tale of what went down with Sarah.
Of our videos, and you have not subscribed,
Tell him.
then we have what, pal?
Beef.
What have we got?
Beef.
Exactly,
Meatloaf.
so you better get doing that right now. Over to you, pal.
I'm making this video today that I didn't initially want to make, but there comes a time when we're all at a crossroad and have to make a decision. And sometimes that decision can affect you morally, it can affect you spiritually, and it can affect you financially. But it's a decision that we can't shy away from. Now recently, Just Pearly Things has been caught up in some controversy. Why? She has interviewed avid racist and known racist Nick Fuentes. He is also an anti-Semite.
Yeah, which, by the way, as we go into this, he's the only person to mention that. Out of all these people, nobody's mentioned the fact that he was talking about the concentration camps not existing. That's something wild, man. I can't even imagine in this day and age. And it's also because I had relatives. I saw the tattoos. My family's getting land back. We were contacted by the family of the people who took my ancestors' property, because they're giving it back to us. So these things existed, for sure. There's so much history that's nearby. It's not that far back. And so yeah, guys like Nick Fuentes are such an astonishing feature in the landscape of human behavior right now, because it's everything that folks at the end of World War II feared. Is some schmuck like him deciding that, because I don't understand it and don't like it, and I was told something different, that none of that existed. Yeah, well, he's a freaking know-nothing who happens to have an audience who just likes to hear somebody push the button of, I don't like a certain group of folks. And I have to really wonder, what exactly is he getting out of it? Well, it's probably a lot of money in one way or the other, and a lot of support in ways that, somebody really shouldn't have with that kind of mindset. Especially because they're selling other people hatred, and they're selling hatred to spread. And it's one of the things that keeps us divided. That somebody along the way whether it be a gun manufacturer or a legal firm, or you name it, an organization like BlackRock maybe, who essentially owns a whole lot of commodity, a whole lot of manufacturing process. And they have their tendrils in every little corner of the world. There's many of these organizations. And they push agendas, but they also push agendas to sell product, whether it be guns or ammunition or the propaganda or the suits that the soldiers wear. There's always an agenda for that kind of stuff, especially when it's just blatant hate, when it's otherism, when it's xenophobia. There is nothing actually real about that, because since the end of the 20th century, the majority of the planets on Earth, we're all mudbloods. We're all muggle. Okay? We're all indigenous now. So get over yourself. The tan of your skin is caused by whether or not your ancestors stood out in the sun or not. That's just how it is. And if you don't like it, well, you're going to have a hard time with the whole life. You're going to be angry at somebody all the time. And you're going to be just buying into the conditions that somebody else set for you so that you'll buy a whole set of goods that they know you'll buy because you're afraid. And that's the biggest portion of this, is that it's a PR practice. If you're kept in fear, you'll buy the products that support your fears. And guess what? There's a whole science to it. There's a whole psychology. There's a whole understanding of how to manipulate you and get you manipulated so that you'll buy a whole stream of things that you think you need. And then you'll hate against other people and stand inside your little mental prison that has a cage door open behind you, and you'll poop in a bucket, then you'll bedazzle the poop, you'll golden plate it, and you'll throw it at your neighbors who are in the prison over there because they're different. And you'll be like, bedazzled, bedazzled. But really, you're just throwing shit at people. They're just like you, throwing shit back. In the end, what does that achieve? Nothing. Nothing. It's a vicious maze. It's a cycle holding a large prison system together that's just a tall obelisk with a little tiny pinnacle at the top that's separated. It crushes everything else. That pinnacle called the Ben. Now, if you're not familiar with these concepts, you can look them up. These are the direct names, and something you won't hear from very many other people. The structure, it's something we build for ourselves. But the Ben, that's the pyramid at the top. And it keeps the rest underneath it. And that's where we need to step out from the obelisk and let it fall to the ground. Kick it to the side, put it in the corner, have it hold the door open for us. There's only about 1,400 of them. And we all pretty much know who they are. Some, though, you don't, because they're innocuous and they're behind closed doors and they're behind boardrooms and they're running institutions. But they're still public in one way or another, because we live in the 21st century. So don't give into the idea that you can hide someone's control, because that's part of the salesmanship of the prison, is that you couldn't possibly know who's keeping you in that PR scheme.
Pearl did when she interviewed him. What she done is that she laughed with him and seems to agree with a lot of his claims.
Talk about instances of like when they initially freed the slaves, there were some slaves that felt so indebted to their owners that they would travel across states to pay them back, and they actually had a really good relationship with them.
Now, if she had said some of these things about the Jewish community, she would have been cancelled.
100%. Well, see, this is the other thing I'm kind of amazed at is she didn't say anything. She didn't push back. She didn't say anything. She just sat there and kind of giggled about it and was like, "Oh yeah, I've heard that." She said she did respond to it, which is even more of a strange thing because, you know, she should be canceled for that. Nobody's outraged about that, and I cannot stress how weird that is to me. That part is just like, yeah, I hate the Jews. It's cool, whatever. What? Really? Really? Just sending some invites out, folks. Hold on a second. I wonder if. By the way, I've got a great neighbor. She's so wild. My neighbor's so wild. She's so funny. She is just an interesting lady. Always doing some projects outside, and she's got a lot of very strong opinions, and she can tell you. See if she wants to come on. She always got some idea, and she's hilarious. All right, who am I sending this to? Oh, I know. See if I can. People are always like, "Oh, I'll definitely come on," and then I'm like, I hit them up at like 11, and they're like, "Dude." Hey, Organic Black, what's happening? Welcome back. You retracted your message. I didn't know you could do that. And I've got the audio going. Yes, welcome. And the Zoom is open. Feel free to have a conversation. Come on in. Welcome. Welcome.
Kyrie Irving.
Home of the friendless. Haha. If she didn't push back against it. And she added on to it. Yes, I know that. So it's not just me. She did. It was an addendum. It wasn't just like she just ignored it. She was like, "Oh, and?" It was like, "What do you mean, oh, and? Oh, and? Yeah, what the?" It crackled up for me on purpose. Hold on a second. I have things for this. Hold on a second. When I saw it, I was like, what? That's what I was like when I was sitting there. Yeah, yeah. And that was what was going on in my head afterwards. So I'm guessing my audio is working. I'm a human Muppet. Okay. By the way, yeah, I made the box just wide enough so I could do the Kermit properly. Anyways, Organic Black, welcome back. So glad to have you back. Zoom is open if you want to talk about this with me, because my opinion on the subject is limited to my outrage of how it's gone down and what is being said. I don't have, obviously, other than my own personal outrage at the insolence and the rudeness and the just there's so many things, the bigotry, the outright actual. The prejudice, the bigotry, the whole list, the actual example of racism. I'm angry for that. I'm angry at what they're doing to Sarah now that I've looked. I'm really angry about that. I made a phone call today too. I wrote an email. And then I texted my homie who I'm like, "Yo, do you know about this? And you have some say. You need to go get on that, bro." I hadn't heard back. But normally he gets back to me. He might have looked at it and was like, "Ooh." I normally don't write him that way. Like he was like, whoa. I sent him a link. Yeah, that'll get handled, folks. Something good will happen about that. He's gaining followers by the hour, by the way. The only thing moving faster is Charlie's, Penguin Zero's video about I talked to Sneeko. Holy mackerel! I think he's at 300,000. It's like 3 hours. He's doing 100,000 an hour. It's amazing. Anyways, yeah, that's a. Anyways, Sarah, tell us.
Ask Kanye West. Now, this isn't about the Jewish community. This is about us.
Yes.
Okay? And so after that interview, Pearl decided to...
And by the way, Jewish communities... all right, all good. You can join at any time. I'll be on for a while. I'm really working this one. I missed it earlier today, so I got to make it up. So... I'll be on, and you're on UK time, so yeah, that's actually where I'm headed in my audience. I'm hoping to hit the pearly crowd in the morning. My pleasure, of course. Thank you for being here, and just like Organic Black did, she liked and subscribed. Thank you very much. Jude, yeah, I know it's late. If you don't work in the morning, feel free to hang out. I know you're in the Midwest. It's probably still freezing cold. It is so lovely out here in California. In the Los Angeles, on the outskirts of the Los Angeles, where I can see the Eiffel Tower of Six Flags Magic Mountain from here. Anyhow, what am I talking about? I'm sorry, I just went off. This is why this is why I have to have a list. Otherwise, I will spend 2 hours talking about absolutely nothing. It's easy. Ask Jude, she can tell you.
To make an apology video, which was, in my personal point of view, disingenuous
Oh yeah,
and a PR stunt.
that's the next one.
And all in all, it came from a place of
It's
deception.
King Rich's. Sorry,
Guys,
King Rich's.
people say that stuff about me. They say I'm sexist.
Oh, you're on East Coast
I'm
Organic.
misogynist.
Awesome.
And you know,
Hold on a second. What city you're in? I'm sorry if you're cleaning and I'm like stopping you from doing your thing. What city are you in, Organic, if you don't mind me asking you? Yeah, that's right. Chez La Vie is. Oh yeah, you're late night. You're super late night right now. You're like 4 o'clock in the schneef. 3:30 in the schneef. Sorry. You got that late night cleaning twitch. That's okay. I know. I do that too. I actually get two different rushes. I get that like early morning, Maryland. Yeah, not Baltimore. Don't get that mixed up, people. It's Maryland. All right. Sorry. Not Virginia, because that's there too. But it's not the same and it's not DC. Okay. Y'all know what I'm talking about. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you don't know. Okay. Totally different place. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. I actually had an artist get on stage one day, and you'll understand this because you're from Maryland. We were in Maryland, and she said, "What up, Baltimore?" And the audience went, first off, there was like 20,000 people that went literally silent for a complete second, and then the whole audience went, like it was both a side eye and then a boo. Oh, hey, tell me about it. Procrastination, by the way, greatest thing to get things done. Absolutely. Because if you don't wait till the last minute to get it all done, it's not going to get done as detailed, ornately, or as fast. I'm telling you, ADHD. Although ADHD, I have lived with somebody with serious ADHD, and that is not fun. I'm just not gonna lie to you. It's something you have to learn to do. And in the case of where it wasn't like a relationship or anything, it was just a roommate. It was like I didn't have to really learn about it. Yeah. Oh. Hold on a second. Let's get you the second camp. Right? Yeah. No, completely. I am there with you. I do my best work in the last minutes. And actually, what's even worse about me is I will do little pieces of the work, can compartmentalize all the way along and kind of piddle out in the middle of each section. And then when I really need, it's the only thing we can do. I don't know how old you are, but it's all we can do with ourselves. I don't actually have ADHD. I have the opposite. I have an intense ability to focus on things to the, and not all over the place. That's just my language nature. I will round about. I don't know if you notice, if I sit here long enough, I will come back to the point. My nature is to focus on something so intensely that the rest of the world just disappears. And, like in rebuilding the studio, I literally spent 2 days and realized I hadn't filmed anything. I just spent 2 days rebuilding the studio. Because I knew what I wanted, and I went at it, and I was just like, but like, hi, where are you? I can't see you, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's what happens. That's what happens when your brain is on errand. That's correct. All right, I'm sorry. This right here, I know she's reading I know that she's reading my comments as well as the business's comments while she's watching this. So, as well as, I was also commenting in the live feed on the day of that. Yeah, anyhow, you can watch the video. There's a video that totally separately. It's got a big funny picture of Nick Fuentes on it, looking like Alfred E. Newman, because I told the AI, oh, no. It's all good. Please, this is what it's about. I'm here to have a discussion and talk about the news and try to take ourselves somewhere, and keep ourselves company. And this is the thing I call this the home for the awkward, Oh, the music stopped because Unfortunately, the iPad finally died. Hold on a second. It is plugged in, but it's been running for hours. Hold on. And I have a backup, so don't worry. Don't worry. The groove is happening. I do not let the groove die. Well, I did just now, but that's just... Boo, DJ! Hey, DJ, Boo, would you play me some Air Supply? Play me some Air Supply! All right, bro. Hold on a second. I'll supply you fucking air. Oh, This is when it's live. It's live. You know it's live because shit falls apart. All right, where am I at? Oh, I'm back in the... This is... Okay, so now we're kind of loungy. All right, I can hang with this. Oh, it's a little fast. Yeah, it's a little fast. Oh, super fast. Sorry. Oh, way fast. What was I connected to? How's that? It feel good? Yeah. Yeah, that's about the groove. Yeah. All right. Let me see. Hold on a second. Now I got to get over to the video side. So this is a totally. It's similar program, not the same device. So it does similar things, but you know, I got 12 backups to a backup nowadays. Okay, what do I want to put on there? Oh, almost. And hold on a second. No, I don't want that video. I want. Oh, there we are. Hold on a second. DJ music ceremony. My collection. Wait, no, I don't want music. Oh, I know why. I wasn't in the video section. Alan, press the correct button. Okay, I will. Okay, sorry. This is what happens. This is what happens when you're live. Sorry. Oh, the dancing alien? Yeah, I love my dancers. They've been practicing for a while. The dinosaur still needs to work out his back it up. So I apologize. I apologize for the slow moves on him. I have a wide collection that will be happening. I just reused this today because it was easy to get it. This is my favorite, actually. The psychedelic dancing, like, lady bear. What is she? She's like a maiden bear on some mushrooms or something. I like holding Pearl in TV face. I'm terrible. I am terrible. Yes. Okay, so let me see here. My video side. Oh, no, not there. Do I not have? Oh my. Where's the history on this? Oh no. Okay. I'm just trying to find the right stuff for the background now, because now that we've got this going on. Oh, you know what? Well, I am just such a goober sometimes, guys. I killed the music. I'm a bad DJ. I'm a terrible DJ. Sorry. And hold on a second. Now I can see what I'm doing. Show video output. Yes. Okay. Cool. Now we're gonna. Oh no. Yeah. I gotta pick up the pace. How's that? In fact, let's get the dancing girl going a little faster. If it'll let me, without killing the fucking stream. I don't think it will. She's good. It's fine. Yeah, that's right. Giving you some music to clean the house by. Don't say I'm not thoughtful. I want your ass to move while you're cleaning. I want you to be like, I am not a fan of Pearl. I'm not a fan of Pearl. I'm not a fan of Pearl. You know, I'm sorry. I shouldn't say that. I'm completely saying that. Okay, mister. Woo! Oh, we got some vidges back. Whoop. Oh, and I'm fucking with the cable, so it's... Sorry, folks. Stop playing with it! That's what my family's always said. Awkward. Oh yeah, now I am back. Woo! Okay, I feel better about that. I was like, I'm not that lame. Well, I'm kind of that lame. No, but I'm not. But I am. See, that's the weirdest thing about me is if you haven't already gotten, I have no fear. I'm a geek. I'm a goofball. This is why I say we are the home of the awkward. Friend to the friendlies. Here to support you because you are awesome. And I guarantee, as the leader of the home for the awesomely awkward, I guarantee that you shall not be left alone in the dark to watch your videos. Nay, I am here with you, here to hold your hands into the awkward silence. All right, anyhow, let's listen to what Pearl has to say. It took too long. The video was like,
I really just like to give people the benefit of the doubt when I interview them. I don't go into interviews trying to interrogate.
What does that mean, Pearl? Well, people told me he was a Nazi, but I wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt. And then when he started talking about, the whole Holocaust not happening thing, I wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt. And then when I said slavery wasn't so bad because I read a thing about that I took out of context, I wanted to give it the benefit of the doubt. Yeah. If you feel like I do about that scenario, I would say Sarah is right. This is as disingenuous as you can get. It's as disconnected and fairly solipsistic, but that's YouTube. You've got to be a narcissist to some degree, or, be somebody with a background in performance like me, and there's some narcissism involved with that because you got to believe that, have the slight delusion that you can do this. And also, at the same time, the difference between general narcissists and somebody who, like myself, who, I have super humility. I know how silly I am. I know how goofy I am. I know how I own it. So there's a difference. I own it, and I'm proud of it. I put it there on my sleeve, where it's just why I'm like, if I can get around the planet many times and hang with the people that I've gotten to hang with and befriend the people that I've gotten to befriend. Oh my God, Sarah has an extra 1,000. Oh my God, in 4 hours, Sarah has an extra 1,000 subscribers. 12,000 subscribers in 2 days. Good for him. Yeah, look, part of the thing of winning in life, as opposed to just trying to make money or trying to be the boss, but just winning an experience, is putting yourself out there and not having fear and walking up to people and be like, hey, I really did that thing you did. Most of the time, they're pretty cool. When they're not, you go, oh, and they do say don't meet your heroes. But that's not always true. Sometimes my heroes have been amazing. Sometimes my heroes are the ones who I never expected to be as cool as they were. And that's how it goes. Give other humans a chance, because you'll be surprised. Most people want to be followed around. Most people want to have their brain picked for what they know. Most people want to have somebody turn to them and be like, hey, can I look over your shoulder? I really don't know anything about that. That's just the truth. Mentoring is one of the greatest things one can experience. Much less travel, much less food. And when I say food, I mean, like, if you eat outside of your norms, you will find so much stuff that is just like what you're used to. But it comes in different shapes, sizes, and variations. And then once you get used to that, it'll vary off into all sorts of other stuff. And then you can actually find some crazy stuff. But hey, I digress. Oh, you know what? I should probably plug the iPad back in, because it will come back to life at some point. Not that I really need to use it again, but because I've got 2 other backups right now. I have so many backups to backups, because everything was falling apart. So no. Okay, sorry. I needed to, where did I go here? Oh, man, I forgot. This device might not have it. Okay, sorry. Where are we? Oh, Pearl! Oh, you like how I did that? I just left her there. I think it's been 8 minutes, right? More. I love it. I love it!
I just more try to listen and see where they're coming from. In hindsight, that wasn't smart. And in hindsight, I should have had someone, maybe Sarah Garvey, maybe another content creator that could have pushed back more and really was more educated on the topics that he was talking about than I was. Because I certainly was not an expert in any of the
Pearl,
stuff
you should have...
Now, I've been on social media for a while, and I have
you should have had... She should have had somebody there with her like Sarah. She should have asked somebody, and she didn't. She wanted to take it on herself, so that says everything about her and her mindset, that she didn't. She chose to avoid that. And say what you will. I would say it's probably an egomaniacal thing, an arrogant thing. It's a simple mistake that gets you into a lot of trouble with your audience and other people's audiences and the people that you consider your colleagues. And, this will go away. Because that's YouTube. This will go away. She'll be fine. But the thing is the impact. The impact is going to be felt for a while. Because poor Sarah here has taken a very serious toll at this moment in time because of this video. And I'm going to let this play. I'm sorry. I keep talking.
With the likes of Tommy Robinson, Sargon of Akkad, politicians like Lee Jasper, and also Lin May and people from the music industry like So Solid. Mega Man to be exact. Now, Pearl was reacting to my content prior to coming to the UK. And so when she came to the UK, I was very interested in the content that she would actually put out. And it just so happened that she was putting out content that I was interested in, similar to what the late great Kevin Samuels actually put out. And I understand it because I myself had been embroiled in court cases and things of that nature when it comes to the mother of my son, and understand that the gynocentric order in which we live in is something that needs to be spoken about. So when she came to London, she wanted to make a podcast, and I said, no problem. Okay, let's talk about it. And I decided...
Okay, so this is... I'm going to stop. I'm sorry. I know I said I was going to let this go, but... See, this is my point about this, is Pearl does owe this man something. It's her hard work, yes, but she ingratiated herself with Sarah, and it's clear that she did. He was there from the get-go. He was there until it became time for her to share the goods. And when it came time to share the goods, she had been paying him out directly for him to be on the show. Yeah, gynocentric order. Oh yeah, no, that one. Yeah, he's definitely. A lot of people point to the business and a couple of these other guys for being the black pill, but he, out of all these folks, I think is the most legitimate out of all the black pill orators. He has a couple of terms like gynocentric. I had never heard that before him, and he's used it a couple of times. Matriarch, maternal. There's a lot of other things you can say, but gynocentric is, yes, it is. I need to get the greasing higher so I can just turn the camera and do a little dance for you. But it's I get a picture of just a vulva walking down the street, basically. That's basically what I imagine when he says that. I'm a 7-year-old in my mind. Yeah, gynocentric. Well, so in any case, I think he's angry about the situation for the sense and for the fact that he had been paid straight out. And when it came time to continue that process, which in business, look, if you had taken a percentage before and that's how your deal happened, yeah, it would be understandable. Oh, the percentage is going to change now. It's going to be put into writing. It's more than a handshake. But when you take what is a guarantee and say afterwards, well, now that we've got the real money, now your guarantee's going away and you're going to make a questionable percentage. Good luck. While I take the majority of it. Well, first and foremost, it doesn't matter what your overhead is. The number that I heard was astronomical. The number that he mentions here is unrealistic. It would never fly in the States for sure. And if it is flying, well, it's criminal. Get out of your deal now. Walk away from it. Take it to a judge. Call it usury, because that's not okay. If somebody's taking more than 25%, if you're not paying for a lot of overhead at your choice and option, because that's the other thing is the packages that you should be getting for your production should be based off of what you're getting out of them, and those overhead costs should be adjustable and scalable to what it is that you are going to make. And if it's not that, then it's a case of usury, because they're trying to implant the costs before the actual production. And when you're hiring somebody in or creating a project with a group of people and collaborating, the provisions, although involved in the cost process, they aren't the overriding cost process. You're already giving your talent a tiny percentage. Telling them that they're getting a percentage of a percentage, that's criminal. That's where I'm like, wow, I right when he tells us this stuff, I know right away what he's saying. And the fact that the other artists are defending themselves is, well, to be frank with you, it's ignorance. It's the fact that they don't know the difference. And someone like myself standing on the outside is like just shaking their head. He says exactly what I think about this coming up here.
Decided to feature on her show. Now, when I featured on her show, because of my following in the UK, people would tune in. So essentially, I helped Pearl grow her channel. Okay, I was on there week to week, and I was working with her based on a fee. So the tragic death of Kevin Samuels happened, and there was a vacuum within the manosphere space. Who was it going to be filled by? It was actually filled by just Pearly Things, along with other.
I would disagree with it. She was just one of them.
Now,
just like when anybody passes away.
The reason why this space was filled is because Kevin Samuels had a large following of black men. And these black men were essentially fed up with the way feminism had taken over their community, specifically their women. So when he died, there was a vacuum and a lot of black men looking for content like this. And it was filled by Pearl. And I believe that Pearl rose to fame.
Well, Pearl isn't the only one, though. It just happens to be.
I
hear. Okay, here's my thing. Explanation of what's going on. The fact that there was Sarah and Pearl, an American girl and an African person from the UK. And then most of the people from the UK, that's why people were watching. It wasn't just that she took over the space from Kevin Samuels. No, Fresh and Fit and MTR and Melanie King and there's a whole list. Pearl got the disenfranchised white nationalists, and we're seeing that in the last 2 days. That all of the right wingers jumped right on out and started jumping on her platform, and those people that were not and didn't realize they were watching a white nationalist right-wing platform jumped out and jumped to Sarah. You can see it in the numbers. I actually have been looking at, I've got a thing called vidIQ, tells you everything about it. I can see what happened. I'm sure they can too. Yeah. So I think what we're going to see is content on Pearly Things getting a lot more uptight from her. I think she's going to take a stronger stance from the angle that she took. I think she's going to double down on this. And now that they hit Sarah with a bunch of strikes, this is all out war. This is all out war. We also have a video of Pearl saying that. I don't have it yet. I'm actually waiting. He sent it. I haven't been able to find it. I think she took it down. So I'm waiting for re-upload to send that to me. So, I think that YouTube was used as a weapon against Sarah. And that's damn near criminal. I don't believe it is an actual criminal act, but I think that it's definitely something that he should be looking into legally. And it sucks because, Why should anybody have to pay to fight? You know, why should David have to pay to fight Goliath? When Goliath only grew to the size that he is because David fed him.
Of what those men had been seeing. She was a white woman. She wasn't the types of women that they had been seeing, and essentially, she was regurgitating Kevin Samuels' content. So I began working with Pearl, and from the beginning, I started to think that maybe this girl has a colonial mindset. Now, we all know that we don't want to be paranoid.
Okay, so I wouldn't agree with him with colonial. I think that's a UK way of looking at it. And I understand, it's just the terminology. I agree with the mindset. Yeah, the mindset is correct. I just disagree with the terminology. White girlism. Anybody in the US knows this girl. She didn't have any people of color in her life unless they worked for her until she went to college, and then those people were just on sports teams with her. Yeah. Yeah, he kind of, actually, honestly, he does have a little paranoia in him, but he's on some other, he's on the more paranoid side of seeing the Matrix, and he doesn't know about the obelisk or the Ben. He probably does, but he hasn't had a name put to it. And he also has some other experiences as well as the stresses in his life and the things that he's dealt with legally with his ex-wife and such. This guy has been put through the ringer. On top of, he also tends to host political figures in the past. So this dude has, I'm sure, run into some problematic situations where he might have a good reason to be paranoid. As soon as you start delving into, by the way, just so y'all know, it looks innocuous, but as soon as you start dealing with political figures, things get quietly dangerous. Soft power is, I'm not going to use the word. It's easy to get deleted playing with the wrong games. I think the greatest example is the fact that, things that can happen to you. Shake the wrong person's hand in the middle of the street, take 10 steps, and have a heart attack. And that's real. And if you want some backup to that, we all saw it on camera as a warning to the rest of the world when the leader of North Korea killed his own brother in an airport by having VX smeared across his face. Now, mind you, the other girl had it in her hand in a tissue. Things happen, folks. So he has fairly good reason to be kind of a, mildly paranoid cat. And I've seen some of his other videos. The things he says, if you think I get kind of wild, he gets pretty far out there. And I mean far out there in that he challenges authority in ways that, I add silliness into it. Flips the algorithm out. The algorithm doesn't understand humor. He's serious about it. That's how you get caught in the cage. Yeah, I know, right? It's kind of messy. That's why I often say you two can pull the wool right over your own eyes. Because the world is a lot more manufactured than you might want to believe. Or that you might even feel. And it might just not be in your realm, and that's fine. It doesn't have to be. And as it was once explained to me by a former legal advisor, one of the team of lawyers who worked for the NSA, said to me, when I asked, so tell me, what's the wildest thing? Death warrants? Delete warrants? Or what like, aliens? What, you got something underground? Wiretapping? What, come on, tell me. And she said to me, with a steady face and a Chardonnay in her hand, if you knew all the things that were going on in any given day, you just wouldn't sleep. And a lot of us in this business don't. But because of a lot of good work, you don't have to think about it and it never touches you. So don't even worry about it, because it's never going to affect you. Not that you'll know. It was one of the most striking things I've ever been told. As well as something, this is a different topic. I was told something about 2 weeks ago by a gentleman who took 17 nuclear blasts to the face. He was at Hiroshima several weeks after the explosions, testing the area for the U.S. Army. He was in charge of several different organizations under Skunk Works and other stuff. And I asked him point blank, I said, so what do you think about, we were talking about quantum physics, and he actually not too long ago took my mom to CERN, and they went and saw they got to see the James Webb telescope before it got, yeah, absolutely, organic black there. And what I'm getting to is actually, I'll tell the rest of the story now that you brought it up. I'll tell it as vaguely as I can. This gentleman is 93 years old. And I love to prod him for questions. Like, I'll always hit him with, like, 17 nuclear blasts to the face? Yep. And what that means is that he said to me that he got up out of the bunker because he had the authorization to do so, that he could go wherever he wanted. So he won't say what his job is, which is, yeah, he hasn't said a word. This is how practiced this guy is. He said he got up out of the bunker every time because he loved to watch them go off. And I said, did you wear sunglasses or anything? Oh, no, you just cover your eyes. I'm like, what? 17 nuclear blasts to the face. The man is 93 years old. He and my mother go skydiving. When my mom told me that they were going skydiving the first time, I was like, are you kidding me? Really? I mean, are you sure? She was like, I only live once. And I'm like, you go. But him? Really? 93 years old. You're only as young as you think, apparently, and you can only live once, so. But yes, so it's my birthday. We're at a birthday dinner. I'm sitting across from him. And it's my birthday, so I'm ingratiating. And I said, hey, so, I've been reading a lot about these different military underground facilities. He raised an eyebrow at me. I said, how do you feel and what do you think about UFOs, being that you worked at Groom Lake and you've worked at some of these installations? You clearly have clearance. This is how I phrased it to him, by the way. I mean, like, and knowing what I know so far, I'm just wondering, do you think this is real and there's lots of stuff going on, which the Fermi paradox either says there is or there isn't, and that's, I'm going to keep my beliefs out of this separately and what I've seen as I tell the story, by the way. It's probably obvious. I mean, like, I believe that there's just no way the universe doesn't have life in it. Okay, I'll just say that. It's insane. But so I say, so is this, it's absolutely real? Or is this something we don't understand and it's being misinterpreted? Is it multidimensional maybe? Or is it a hoax being perpetrated to hide and as a disinformation campaign as counterintelligence? And his answer to me was, look, if anything was real, if somebody landed out there right now, I think somebody was playing a joke on us. Oh, okay. So it led me to believe that in his area of the world, they were led to believe that it isn't real, that it's us. That this is counterintelligence. Because his exact words were, if somebody landed a UFO outside right now, I would ask who's playing a joke on us. It said everything in the answer. He said many other things, but that was the one that really was telling because I got him upset and he was shaking. I really pushed him. I hate to say it. Yeah, he's 93. But you can't hold on to those secrets and just look at me barefaced when I ask you a good question and say nothing and then tell me that none of it is real. Tell me that options A, B, C, D, E, F, and G, none of that is real. I don't want to talk about it. Yeah. Okay, so so absolutely nothing is, so that's when I brought up in the early 90s, I was recording an album out at my brother's house in Apple Valley, which is not far from a military base. And my friend Eric and I were out in the desert doing things. And actually, I don't think we had anything. I think we were just sitting out there yapping, smoking cigs, looking at the stars. I would gather that we were really, really poor then. We used to go out in the desert and do things. But anyways, in that particular night, we were just roaming through the desert in my Jeep. And which is everywhere outside of my brother's house at the time in the early 90s, Apple Valley. It was just, there's nothing out there. It's just desert and rolling hills. And so we were out there, and it's not far from 29 Palms. And out there staring at the stars, and just so you know, not on any drugs. I was not doing anything, because that's the whole joke, is, oh, what were you on? No. Seriously, we were just out there, and he and I saw it. And other people were out there, too, in the basin that we were in. And you know, it was seen by more than just us. We were out there, and I saw and drew his attention to two what looked like stars that suddenly went whip, whip. And then suddenly a show started. Yip, 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 yip. And they were doing these strange motions across from one another. It looked like they were tethered by a rubber band, but they were doing motions that if there was a human inside of these capsules or whatever it was, yeah, they'd be splattered on the inside. But mind you, at that point in time, I had already known. I've had a subscription to Scientific American since I was about like 8 years old or something. Only now in the last like decade or so, I don't have it because I don't need it anymore because it's, you know, everything's online. But I'm watching these objects do things that if somebody's driving them, they're splattered on the inside. I'm sorry. Sar's got the look on his face that I think half of you at home have. No, this is very real. I shouldn't. No. Yeah, no. This is. I saw it with my own two eyes. So we see these things doing, you know, and it was an amazing show. It was awe-inspiring. Oh, they're very real. And there's, you know, if you want to get down into the nitty-gritty dirty of it, there's a number of different things going on. I think Skinwalker Ranch is a great public example of it, but there are basins across the planet that have these same things going on that are clearly thin spaces in the multi-dimensional reality or the holographic universe that are being taken advantage of by either interdimensional or next level beings. You know, there being now provable 8 dimensions to any one physical realm, at least as we know it, within the realm of C-137. And when they say that on Rick and Morty, by the way, if you're familiar with Rick and Morty, he's not just talking shit. The term C-137 revolves around cesium-137, the weight of the Higgs boson, giving our reality a value of somewhere right down in the smack center between chaos and normalcy, or universalism. I mean, order. Absolute order, absolute chaos. We're somewhere in between. Explains everything. It's why there's no magic here. If there's magic, Skinwalker Ranch is probably the explanation of where magic comes from, because the creatures that seem to come out of one of the kind of the portals, the orange portals, are animalish, and they have a more pagan character look between the lizards, which you can say are the Silurians, or you know, the antlered people. These are the things that have been seen. Now, the mountainside, where they see the little blue orbs and things coming out of, that seems to be a holographic imaging scenario. And a friend of mine who's a very knowledgeable person in physics pointed out when I showed him this. One, he said the person on the show is incredibly important in government work when it comes to space exploration and telescopes and black ops science missions and such. Yeah, Skinwalker Ranch is one of the most prevalent in the 20th and now 21st century researched and acknowledged places on the planet to see and or experience, well, otherworldly things. And it was basically held until a couple years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, by a government institution. They did studies there to figure out what was going on, and then they vacated and left because from all the interviews, the generals and the scientists said they couldn't nail it down, or that they couldn't get to the bottom of it, is what they said. It probably means that they got to the bottom of it and went, oh, we can't do anything about this. This is nothing we really know. And there's some things like that. In any case, it's a very fascinating thing. It's not the only place in the world that's like that, or that has this much activity. Not by a long shot. It seems like there's a lot of, if we're talking about this subject, it seems like there's a lot of buried antenna on our planet. Now, why that would be, could be that it's easier to transport yourself when you've got a base to holographically display yourself. Now, this is all hypothesis. This is all talk, but it's based off of observational research, and it's based off of the information that I have read in studies on Skinwalker Ranch, and also, there's so much literature on the subject. Skinwalker also has an interesting lore that goes back 1,000 years from the Utes, and the history of the Utes is even more interesting because they may very well be the Egyptians who have come. And now I'm going way off the end. See, there are a bunch of Egyptian artifacts that were found in the Grand Canyon. They're at the Smithsonian, and they've gone back to research them in recent times. And there's a whole section of the Grand Canyon you can't go to because of the archaeological research. They're no different than the Ashkenazi, who are near the Utes. They're all related, and one of the things that relates them all is the structural tunneling and the apartment complexes that they have. They're no different than the ones we find underground in Turkey. They're no different than the ones we find in the catacombs of Egypt. They're no different than what we find underneath the ziggurats, which means that these cultural building styles were being dragged from one place to another, whether it be by word of mouth or by scripture. And by scripture, I don't mean Bible. I mean, like, somebody was carrying an early form of cuneiform or tablet or something of that nature that had instructions. And anyways, I go way off. I just went way off. But anyways, human history, we don't know ourselves. The cataclysms have wiped us out several times. And, the more we learn about ourselves, the more it's likely that we are neither the first go-round... Oops. Did I just stall out? I just stalled out. Wow, that was heavy. Woo! Well, I wonder what that was. Glitched me. Glitched me hard. Yeah! Wah, 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 wah. Oh yeah, I'm back now. Probably a little off sync. The audio still rolled. That's nice. Yeah. Well, this new rig got a couple things to work on. All right. Anyhow, I was on one. See? When you're getting too close to the truth, they're like, shut them down. It's straight up nothing. I didn't touch anything over here. That was really weird, right? I love that. That's what we can call the Matrix. Hilarious. All right, Sarah, what's going on?
So I kept working with her. However, the more I worked with her is the more that I saw. She had a...
Oh man, talk about it. As soon as he disappeared, I knew something was wrong. I knew that he just disappeared. Weird, and then well, he explains.
Point when it came to black people, and I had to school her a few times on
I can only imagine
what it was like to be black and the black experience, and also what slavery and colonization was actually like.
Do you think that
this is
historical catastrophes must
I can
be
imagine
compensated
saying
for?
No,
No.
that's stupid.
So then, I'm not agreeing or disagreeing.
Yeah.
So then, how come there were groups of people that got compensation then?
How
For
come?
instance, like Jewish people, Chinese people, Japanese people with the bombs. Like there were groups of people who got compensated.
I don't know.
So it wasn't fair.
And by the way, I gotta mention, when he's saying this, as someone who's being compensated, or whose family is being compensated for their loss, the reason that the Japanese were compensated, the reason that the Chinese were compensated in the 20th century, the reason that many of these cultures ended up compensating was because of the scourge of what happened to slavery. So none of the rest of them would be benefiting without that, implied guilt. So he's right. It's long overdue. Way long overdue. And for the trillions that were made, yeah, there's no sense.
Well, I'm talking about like when I think about group, I think about reparations.
Yeah, because
So,
I mean,
I don't.
Organic Black, think about this. Talking about 300 years. For 150 of those, families made money off the backs of blood. And there were millions and millions made during that time period. Put it in today's money, and we are talking hundreds and hundreds of billions, if not trillions. Just like Jack's Beach. If you're not familiar, I actually live in an area that was a historically black recreations ground. And that was because it was outside of the city. And this place was flooded. Now, they make it out to be Chinese people at the beginning of the movie. But if you watch Chinatown, the flood at the beginning of the movie is the flood in the place where I live. And they did it on purpose. Because the people that lived here were the wealthiest black people in Los Angeles County. And they owned land that the county wanted. And sure enough, when those homes and people were washed away, everybody in the area had to prove title. Of course, the paperwork was gone. So, the county claimed 2 different beach sections that were owned by the people who communally owned the retreat out here. One was a boardwalk area, the other was a full beach. Yeah, they flooded them out. There's actual historical record of the engineers telling Mulholland that the rains are going to break the dam just above where I'm at. And he wrote back, spackle it up. If it doesn't hold, there's just N-words down there. It's in his letter. It was in the news. I found it in an actual newspaper article. Yeah, from the time period, no less. The wall of water that hit this area moved a mountain. You can still see, yeah, it's evil. It's evil. And the county only just gave Jack's Beach back to the family. And they're not getting a quarter of its value because they're just trying to sell it and get rid of it. The area of beach that they have should be worth $200 million, if anything. They're selling it for 25. Because essentially, the way it was zoned, it's a state park. So they can't do anything with it. Criminal. But this is, American colonialism. It's the usurping of wealth of a whole group of people. And then denying that the nation made its wealth off of them. Yeah. I mean, I guess it's because I'm a 70s kid, grew up in the 80s, born in the 70s. And we were all taught these things and to be reverent of it and to think of the people around us because of the amount of tragedy of the prior centuries. It's tough.
Oh, I mean, maybe if the people were still alive today, like, I don't know, maybe. But, like, when you said historical, I thought you meant, like, at the past, not the present.
Yeah, so, like, in the past, so, like, people talk about slavery. So, in the past, you know, the Holocaust happened. In the past, you know, the Japanese, but people got compensated for it.
Yeah.
There's a book, right, called How Europe Underdeveloped Africa.
Walter Rodney. If you're not familiar with it, it is it's a brainy read. It's very dry. These are one of these books that a friend of mine in a band called Black Sunshine suggested to me a long time ago. And if you want to educate yourself about what has happened with colonialism, it's an excellent study. And it's historically accurate and doesn't have a lot of kickback from historians about it. So that's good.
And when you read that book, you realize that the whole Industrial Revolution and stuff like that was started because of the colonization. And you just think, well, if you didn't do that, then you...
What do you mean by the colonization?
So the colonization, people and the right? There's a direct correlation between the colonization of Africa and the Industrial Revolution.
Okay.
And so with all the metals and the rubber and all this kind of stuff coming from Africa, it fueled the Industrial Revolution of the West.
Wait,
Much less.
are you saying
so
like in
he's
Africa?
leaving out the East Indian Trading Company. For the prior 200 years, they had just taken everything in Northern Africa and India. Started a whole war. We wouldn't have the term ooga booga, which if you don't know what that is, it's actually a military strategy. It's a form of voodoo. It's a psychology. The Namibian? I'm probably getting that wrong. It's been a long time. So the British were fighting African tribes for North Africa. While the Boers were fighting, that's the Dutch, were fighting in Central and Southern Africa. All colonial, all taking land. Oh yeah, no, they don't care. It doesn't affect her. What do you mean? People don't have a wet nurse? Yeah, what do you mean? You don't have 8 rooms? Your dad can't afford 4 Porsches? Oh my god, what's so weird? That must not be true though. Not the norm. Huh? You sure? Let me hit the Pearl question. Are you sure? Yes, Pearl, we're sure. You unempathetic. I don't have the buzzer. Ah! You unempathetic. Yeah. Muted myself. When you don't got the tech button, you mute yourself. All right. Yeah, she doesn't care. her vibe is, I don't really understand it, and I didn't have black friends before this, so I just don't know. I don't know. White privilege? Oh my god. I apologize for all unmelanated people. It hurts the brain. Oh, the British in Africa. Sorry. Yeah, the Ooga Booga. It's one of the most amazing things. See, I got pulled off. One of the most amazing things I ever learned. So the tribes figured out that the English had all kinds of preconceived wacky notions about the African tribes, including the fear that voodoo would take them and take their souls, and they, there's all sorts of, what is he called? The boogeyman. The boogeyman comes from this, that he'd sneak into your tent at night and cut off your legs, or take a piece of your body away with him. So this comes from the other tribes hearing these stories and playing into them and taking advantage. They were very smart. But the Ooga Booga is an actual psychology and a psychological warfare that is used to this day, and you can use it in debate. And you can use it in a situation where somebody's trying to threaten you, in fact. So what it was is they would stand on the front line and chant. And in this case, it sounded to the British like Ooga Booga. Hoo-ha! 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 As they'd, and that's pretty scary. But what they'd be doing in between is speaking English and whispering, "Run away, die, fall on your knife, run away, be afraid, Ooga, be afraid, run away, Ooga Booga." And so you have this chant happening and a subconscious insert, and it scared the bejesus out of the British. Hence the term Ooga Booga. Strange factoidal things. But this works because when you're actually interacting with somebody that might be threatening to you, you can go, "What are you doing? Leave me alone. What are you doing?" And believe it or not, that suggestion in the middle will lock because of the adrenaline on both sides. How did they know? 1,000 years of battle with just a sword? Maybe. Yeah. No, but that's a lot of voodoo, by the way. Voodoo, as opposed to the religious belief, the other side of Santeria. Voodoo, the practice of, is intermingling chemical science and psychology. And it's fascinating because it's one of the very few practiced and proven forms of, let's call it, witchcraft. But it's really an ancient science and knowledge of the human practice and brain and behavior. It's a thing. By the way, look at Sarah's face. Now that we're back on this. He's like, you better. Look at his face. I feel for this man. I thought they were dating, honestly, but I guess not. By the way, check out Pearl's bedroom. It's like she doesn't live there. I'm sorry.
When you say colonize, you're
Perturbed.
saying
He's trying to be nice.
Come in and colonize.
Yeah, like so European.
Did she just ask? Like she really didn't know. Oh my god. This takes a music change. Whoa. Yeah, I think. Wow. Okay, so I might need to change the whole groove. Hold on a second. Cancel out of there. I was like, I gotta change the whole group. We're in analog techno. You know what we need right now? We need, let's get deeper into the techo. Down with the EDM, because it's dark. Yeah, there we go. Some trouble about to happen.
France, Spain, Portugal, England.
And they like enslaved Africans, and
Yes.
that's what you're saying. Okay.
So they enslaved and at least colonized.
I'm sorry.
it.
That is terrible. I'm laughing because it's so absurd. So they're like enslaved Africans? We're talking about colonialism. Talking. I'm sorry. This needs a second view. Hold on a second. Hold on. This needs a second view. Ah! Sorry. Oh God. Ah! Ah! My brain. Okay. Also, why did she look like him, like, looking at him like, oh yeah, oh yeah. Good God. Oh!
Okay. So, when you colonize a continent and then you take ownership of the resources, you're able to gather those resources together and use them to your own benefit.
Right.
And so you gather those resources, use them to your own benefit, and build up your economy, all the while messing up the economy.
Right.
Wait, she doesn't just not care. She doesn't know. She has no reference. No reference. How do you not have any reference to this? Oh, white privilege. Okay, let's have a talk. One of the things that I note about life in America is that there is a lot of leveled privilege. Now you look at me and you think, oh, he's a white guy. Yeah, well, white like her, she doesn't see me as white. She sees whatever she sees in my face. And that's what really goes down. And as you see her looking at him, I see what I see in the same kind of person looking at me, discounting me for what they see in my face. And misreading at that. Pearl doesn't know the background of anybody or anything. And she's telling us all what we should be doing. Oh my God! Alright. Anyhow, thanks. Sorry. I just had to, take that moment with you. Just you and I. Off to the side. This bitch is crazy. Anyhow.
That actual country.
So that video was filmed in 2022. And in that video, what you saw was me attempting to tell Pearl and show Pearl
in the summer,
what
by the way,
colonization was like. How people went to another group of people and took their resources and took what was theirs and built their empire off of it. So when Pearl now plays like she doesn't know what colonization is, and she doesn't know slavery is, and she says these insensitive statements, in that video I actually attempted to give her a book. It was called How Europe Underdeveloped.
Yeah, the question is, did she take the book?
She
I don't think so.
Semi-dismissed that book. She kind of dismissed that book. And then she went on with herself to go and interview a man like Nick Fuentes.
Yeah, see, that's something that gets me, is that she had the book. He gave her the book. She'd read the book. She could actually push back. She would have been informed, but she didn't read the book. So she chose not to read the book. And she went into the interview with the information in hand, but didn't inform herself that's even more damning. It means she didn't want to be informed. What does that really mean? It means she doesn't care. She doesn't care about the effect, and she doesn't care what she's associated with. It's a lack of, well, it's just a lack of moral. And I can understand if it was altruistic, but I think this is capitalistic, because they did exactly as I suggested to them when I said, guys, let me know if you want to capitalize on this. The message I got back from Auntie Jenny was an attack. So in the end, I asked her for oxtail recipe, which she didn't give me. She sent me to some catering. Even though I even slipped in the fact that I knew about the most revered Jamaican food, jerk chicken, in all of the UK. I have the phone number. Get it every time I'm there. You have to call early or else it's all gone. It comes out of an apartment. And everybody knows Bing's. If you can get the phone number, you call them and you make a big order early in the day. I spent 10 years thinking about that freaking jerk chicken. Till I begged a friend of mine who was the tour manager of the Roots to give me the phone number, and she was like, oh, you don't have Bing's? I'm like, are you kidding? It's like a holy grail of jerk chicken and festival. Gah! No, I'm a big fan of the Biscuit and Festival. Yeah, I get a bag. I get a just big bag. And I only got one jerk chicken the first time I had it. And the whole room full of people had 2 or 3 orders. And I'm like, wow, you guys are hungry. They're like, no, you don't understand. You failed. I was like, 10 years, a full decade. I'm thinking about what an ass I was for not ordering the second chicken. So every time I go back now, it's like 3 bags to myself. And everybody's like, dude, what are you doing with that? No, trust me. You just have yours and we'll see how you feel. It's always, yo, dude, so you got another one of those? Hey, bro. Hey, Josephine Baker. What up? You got another Bing's? I shouldn't even say it. I'm an idiot. I'm advertising. Oh my God. Yeah, well, good luck getting the number. Anyways. Yeah, I think it's even worse now. I think you actually have to Instagram them. I'm out of the loop. I don't Insta. I don't TikTok. I don't Insta. I got lots of reasons for that. Totally different episode. Yeah. You know I'll go somewhere with it. All right. So,
Angry Man, how are you doing?
What's good? What's going on with you?
Man, apparently I'm not standing on my square. So
I bring us to the lead attorney.
This whole situation?
The guy who didn't have a lot to do with it. He just happens to be friends, and she uses his name all the time. I would have to gather that I've come to learn, by the way, by watching some of his videos and reading and doing some of the stuff, that they hardly know each other. They just, in passing, YouTube cooperation. Collabs, as they used to call them. He's been getting such hell. Anyhow, so this is new.
Well, it's funny because they called me to come over here, but I actually don't really disagree with you about this situation. I got a bone to pick with you because you ignored one of my super chats, but other than that, I don't see how the black manosphere is gonna hold anybody accountable when they don't hold each other accountable.
Listen, and I want to hear what you have to say about this, but I also want to talk.
Yeah, he did.
The bone that you have to pick with me.
Yeah, he really did. And if you ever watch his show, yes, he kind of got a potato head. But 20 years as an attorney, he can afford any kind of head he wants. That guy. Also, he seems like a really nice guy. He seems like a good attorney. That's rare. He shares good advice, and he's very focused on making sure people don't get screwed. Yeah, but he really did get caught in the crossfire. And I can't really talk about some of the topic in here. I have no place to. And it's not for me to speak of. So I'll listen. I know Angry Man was coming over to talk to him in reference to the business, which, the black pill world has its own vibe of what they think of this, and man, they are eating each other up. And I think that's one of the sad outcomes of this, is that you've got somebody like the lead attorney who's very well meaning. He's very well spoken. His demeanor is professional. He brings great things to the table, and he does a wide range of topics. And essentially, he's giving free legal advice, which, $350 an hour for just a base level attorney. So, and he was charging a lot more, from my understanding. That guy was, he's the dude that if you had to win your divorce, that's the guy. Anyhow, so he got caught in crossfire. I'm gonna watch this for a minute, and we're gonna move on to King Riches, because
one of your super chats.
I feel seen.
Absolutely right.
By a video.
Shit. You know why I ignored that?
From him.
Because
a
I
live
saw a
stream.
video of you screaming "fuck the lead attorney" when I had never mentioned you. See, I'm gonna hold you accountable. Shout out to dude. I'm gonna hold him accountable. Fuck the lead attorney. I had never mentioned.
Fair enough.
Fair enough, right? What about? Is that how you do it, dude? Is that how you do it?
Yeah.
Hey, but so.
Hey, at least you kept it funky.
All right, shout out to the Angry Man.
But no, I don't like. Everybody's coming at me about this.
Hit him with that lawyer, smack right away. No, it's cool, but you.
Because I didn't see anything Pearlie said that was racist. It might have been salacious, but not necessarily racist. And we're running around saying, okay, we need to hold Pearlie accountable, How? Most of the guys in this space have said that you can't, if we have the conversation about holding black women accountable, there are numerous guys in these spaces that'll say you can't hold women accountable.
Yes, Lois, this is exactly right.
I can't. Yeah. No, that's something I can speak on. Accountability. It's something we got to get on each of our neighbors about. Doesn't matter who you are. When you see someone actively being unaccountable for their bad behavior, it's up to us as a society and anybody who's around to say, hey, yo, Chat Teddington. Cut it out. Wrap it up, B. Wrap it up. Because otherwise, we're just as part of it, as much part of it as the person who's doing the shitty stuff. You can't claim other people are unaccountable if we don't hold them accountable for bad behavior. Doesn't matter what community it is. And I'd say, honestly, the black community in America, the African American community, has done huge things for holding themselves accountable where almost no other community has. Definitely haven't seen it out of white Christians. Not enough Jews for that to be a case. And the Muslim community, after 9/11, they sat down on their knees and said, this is not us. Accountable. And then they got treated even worse. Oh, he doesn't think he can hold a group of women accountable? Well, I think the idea is not to hold people as a monolith, as opposed to a small, or the exceptions or the general behavior of social culture. And that's what he's saying is he's relating it to social culture and taken out of the essentially bigoted view of saying, oh, this is just our people's problem. This is just our women's problem. This is just somebody who looks like, he's trying to be more egalitarian about it, because Angry Man happens to be, I don't know if you follow him or not, he happens to be, of that group, the more intellectually based. I compare him the Vosh Chud Logic. He's the Chud Logic of the Black Pill world. It's weird. That's how deep I gotten. Yeah, I think he's trying to separate it off. So because the toughest portion of the conversation is not lambasting, it's not monolithing, it's not saying, everybody, because no matter what, you're gonna, when you hit with a wide stick, you're gonna hit people you didn't intend to. And that's the toughest thing about, no, I've been meaning to watch that. I hear that's a really good one. And I'm still kind of caught in the Max world. I believe that's, and I'm going to cover, if I get time, if this thing doesn't take me down. And it's morning. I want to be there when Pearl gets up and King Riches turns on his feed. Anyhow, sorry. Yeah, I am moving through the DGG, and I've been reporting and nudging around, kind of like I did in the Pearlyverse. Yes, I will. Actually, thank you for turning me on to that, because I will remind myself. Excuse me, because that's something I do need to watch. And I forget. I go down a rabbit hole, and I'll forget a topical. And then 2 days later, I'll be like, oh, it's late. It's too late. I can't watch it. That's 4 days ago. That's a year in YouTube time. So, yeah, the DGG and the Max and Love, I don't know if you're familiar with any of that stuff, and the Destiny thing that's going on, and the report that this guy Max wrote, I am almost 100% convinced, 95%, that this has been an, nerdy Andy Kaufman event. That they staged the whole thing, and for the past year, this has been a lead up to Max putting out that dossier or that report or whatever that's nonsense and crappy. And I have video that backs me up. You can look it up. It's called, in fact, I'm going to type it in here. Let's see if it doesn't crash me. Hold on a second. It's called, You Said I Was Wrong. And it's a Destiny video. It's about a year old, and it's literally Destiny and Max talking about the plan for the next year. And it's all there. It's all there. If you want to know what happened, watch that. It'll tell you what they were planning. Love, there's some weird stuff with Love and Max. And by the way, Destiny just did a whole thing where he had several people that he had kicked off. Brittany, Love. Brittany had Love on. It's a show. That's a show. Yeah. No, it's a wow. It's a wow. Talk about a long con. And then his audience is like, the lives that are destroyed. Every one of them made money. They all made money. And he made a ton of money. Although he turned into kind of a bad guy. I mean, yeah, but anyways. Destiny. Yeah. Okay, so in 2010, on the Digitour, we called him Pog Boy. Steve-O3. Yeah, Mr. Girl. That's Max. So Max is the one, I think, who's playing, one, he's the bad guy, Jewish character. That entire world is just constantly hinting that in one way or another that they're anti-Semitic. From Destiny calling Lav, or who was it? One of the girls, mid-Jewish boom boom, to him, just making fun. It's funny because he's doing it for show. He's doing it because the audience is there with him. And I believe in that video, you'll see Mr. Girl, Max, come on to the stream with Destiny, and they make the plan of how he's the bad guy. Not Destiny, but Max. And how this report is going to work out, and how it's going to fail in the end. But it's going to draw a lot of viewership. They even talk about how at some point, Max is going to become the enemy and go off on his own. It's an amazing thing. And it turns into reality, and you know that it wasn't reality because of the LinkedIn egg controversy today, where Destiny responded to a girl on the campus he's on who had put a LinkedIn notification up saying, hey, anybody who's here, I'll pay you whatever you want to go throw an egg at Destiny's head. Well, Destiny turns to his followers and goes, dox her, find out where she works, send it to her boss, yada, yada, yada. Now, mind you, stupid for youngster to put that up on her real LinkedIn. She had to be a moron anyways. But the retribution, the retaliation, the speed, and the anger. Yeah, look, uncomfortable. Oh, yeah. But that's, frankly, it's a great example you brought up. The pathologizing of a subsect of your own community for the sake of undermining or minimizing is one of the most powerful tools in the obelisk that keeps us all in a mental prison. That when we see ourselves as other, what's the best prison? One that you make for yourself and that you'll defend. Think New York City. Now, I love New York, but I'd never live there because it's a prison. It's a literal prison. There's just so many people on top of one another. But that's beside the point. The point being is that when we minimize within our own communities, we're then focusing back in on ourselves and not tipping our head upwards at who might be benefiting from us arguing and fighting amongst ourselves and pointing, And people all over the planet are watching, yes. And they eat it up. They both want to see us fall, and they want to emulate us. They want to have this, and they want to demonize it. We become a minstrel show. All of us. Which is actually why I'm here. To hopefully undo things that I may very well be in some way responsible for. I'm not proud of it, but I do understand it. I do understand it. Sorry, I've got a little slur now because the audio's dragged. In any case, each of these groups, tiny little fiefdoms, prison systems, cubicles within the obelisk structure, they tend to devolve into cannibalism. Because they can't see the prisons next to them or the fact that the cage door is open. So the only thing that's left is to cannibalize your neighbor, to cannibalize your family, to cannibalize your loved ones. And it's the greatest tool that the slavery mindset ever impaled the human race with. Because that psychology moved from a direct purchase and thievery of the human spirit and body and extrapolated it in the mid-20th century into mind, soul, and being, so the body doesn't matter. As long as you've got the mind, the body will follow. Well, it's the truth. We live in a creation of our own selves. Each one of us, you and I, is made up of ourselves. We decide who we are, how we are, where we are, and when we are. Only you can make you a better you. That's Ram Dass, by the way. And when we step back away from the argument, we step back away from the petty, we step back away from the dehumanizing, we step back away, we get further and further from the prison bars and the bucket full of golden colored poop bedazzled so you can throw it at your neighbors and show them how fancy your shit is. Once you step back away and you get closer and closer to that open door, you'll feel the air on your back. And then it's just a matter of separating yourself from those ideas and constructs that would otherwise have you fighting for scraps. And once you're no longer fighting for those scraps, join us on the outside. There's more here. We'll be looking up. Because that's where the problem lies. It's not with you or I. It's not with our neighbors. It's not with the other folks who have as little or just a little bit more or a little bit less or don't look like us or don't believe what we do or don't sound like we do or that's the prison. It's seeing each other as human. It's seeing that distrust has been used against us all as a tool. And to look clearly at that black hole of control. See all the stars orbiting around it as they go crashing in. It's only when you look at the empty space that you'll see where the center is.
Jesus Christ. And you're one of the founders
yeah,
of the
Jesus Christ! I went all the way there!
I'm not even in the and I know they say that you can never hold women accountable. But then we're supposed to hold men accountable. Oh, no, Pearl's a woman, right? So hold a woman accountable over the internet when you can't hold women accountable. This is one of the founders. This is what Angry Man is telling you. I'm lost too. I don't know what this dude is talking about.
Now, if you're saying, now I see Duke saying that, okay, well, if somebody's being racist on the internet of a different race, you stop supporting them. That makes perfect sense. But I don't think that the majority of Pearlie's audience is black. I could be wrong.
Okay, so I was looking at that. She did, until Thursday, till Sarah's video, have a large, or I would say a 40% margin, African American, Central African, Northern African, and UK African identifying audience. vidIQ, by the way. It's amazing. It just tells you everything. You can look at everybody else's stats, find out what they're doing, find out who's seeing them. Just how I've been doing half this research, by the way. Shout out to vidIQ! Yeah. Now, she lost that audience, half that audience, overnight. They went straight over to Sarah. And I'll just hold the tips of the fingers. This is what they did. Hopefully they won't get dinged. I guess you'd have to ding me, wouldn't you? Yeah. Sorry, I'm giggling to myself. Aaron, you got dinged for flipping off the camera? Come on! Come on! Alright. Wow. Okay, so I hear, I'm sorry not to get a topic, but I hear what he's saying about this, is that they're saying that you can't hold women accountable, which, by the way, this is the Fresh and Fit thing, this is Kevin Samuels thing. Oh, you can't hold women accountable because they got to hold themselves accountable. No, you hold people accountable for their bad behavior. You can't get them to change. That's just human. So, it's kind of a false argument. It's a red herring to some degree.
Listen, Angry Man is up here talking, guys. And if you accept the premise that, you know, so much of this stuff, there's some behind the scenes stuff, and what Angry Man knows, what I know, like so much of this stuff is, you know, it's kind of content too. And, you know, putting, like Angry Man said, putting salacious stuff out there, it's gonna get the views, it's gonna get the money. Everybody talks about all of Pearl's employees and stuff. Pearl has overhead, man. Pearl stresses out if those numbers ain't looking right. If you are a business owner, you know about overhead, and you know about getting to the 15th or the 20th
that's
of
where
the month. And
I'd say he's probably not fully correct about that, because it turns out Pearlie's manager and Pearlie's father run the business side. Pearlie just does the show, deals with things on the show. It's a whole video where she talks about handing over the business to her father. One of her morning coffee talks. I could pull it up, but you can find it. I know you can find it. Anyhow, yeah, she mentions it more than once, but her manager is dealing with day-to-day, and her father is actually dealing with the finance. Because apparently she didn't do any oversight, and her friend who had been living there with her in the UK apparently took her from the story. I'm just gleaning from all the pieces of the story that I've heard her say. Her friend took the credit card and spent a bunch of money on the studio and herself, and screwed up the budget. Which is why apparently Ish and somebody, I can't remember her name, her friend went away. So, not the roommate, her friend, who was on a bunch of the shows and just suddenly disappeared. The only other American there. Oh, other than her volleyball playing roommate, who's King Rich's girlfriend. If you didn't know that, King Rich's girlfriend is Pearlie's roommate. Yeah. Tiny little Pearlyverse.
Where you need to be. You know about that, right? And the big way to get money on this content game, on this YouTube game, is to get some fucking controversy rolled up, some fucking some conflicts, some interviews, right? Andrew Tate, Brittany Renner, Nick guy, shit, anybody that can cause a stir. Get Esther back in here, shit. Right?
Yeah, no, I was a big proponent after she kicked Esther off. For about 2 weeks afterwards, it's just boring. It's just same communication style, same logic. Yeah, that's the name of the game. It's why I started poking at her. It's why I started sending the Fuentes video. It's because the algorithm recognizes that you're taking part, and other people do as well. Now, in my case, I'm heading towards YouTube news and interaction and, you know, being the person that you can hang out with and talk about these subjects and go anywhere with. On purpose. So that I can look at all this material everywhere and get deep into it. In fact, I was watching Mr. Beast earlier. I love that guy. I really do. He's such a nice guy. And he's come such a long way. Such a long way. Anyways. Although, channel very white. Like, embarrassingly so. Like, there is no... There's just this... It's like a mint. The whole channel is a mint. Not a tasty one. I mean, it's fun, but it's just like a bland mint. Anyways. Yeah, the complexion. But anyways. So, yeah, oh, I know what I was going to. I know who's next. Let's see. Oh, the natural progression. King Riches! Rah! Tate free! Look, bruv! I'm gonna scream, bruv! Bruv! Oh, okay. LTV did something on him. Let me see. Oh, that's O'Shea Duke. Did he take it down? No. Hold on a second. No, he did not. Hold on, I gotta get down to the live. People also watch. No. Hey. Oh, here he is. I just didn't go. Our Modern Wives, Crappy Wives. That's the episode where she knows the whole world's falling and she's not saying anything. Selective outrage. There it is. I feel seen. This one I feel seen. Oh no, I apologize. It's not selective outrage. It's oh my god, where he took it down. Oh my god. Whoa. This one. Where'd it go? Whoa. Wow. I don't even know what this is. I just pressed on it because the card is so epic. Oh my god. Did you see what that was? Sorry, let me go back if you missed that. I don't know what this is. I don't know what we're about to see. Because it makes it better.
Yes, fam, you don't know. It's your boy Jedi Avatar online, True Illuminati Live, Reptile, True Illuminati. Click, like, comment, share, subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you know when we go live. And please,
wow.
You like in the chat, you know, like that. Happy Friday, family.
I don't feel comfortable.
Come on.
You know, you ever find something you just know is not meant for you? Okay, so sometimes the cards, they're dope looking or crazy, but they take you. Wow. Wow. Okay. Wow. Where is King Rich's channel? Rich's channel! Oh my god! Oh. Wow. Yo. That's dirty. That's dirty. They're ruthless. Folks are ruthless. Alright. He's a nice guy, even though he yells at the camera and he ain't maybe the brightest. Yeah. Well, they changed his picture from the down to the up. They lightened him up because he's just been screaming at people. All right, now we're on his channel. Popular videos. What do we want? No. We're looking for the live. I think he took it down. That's amazing. Oh, no, here it is. Sorry. It's just, they buried it. They buried it. It's the one before selective outrage. That was Friday. Who wants smoke? There it is. I feel seen. Who wants smoke? Supporters,
what's
trolls,
going on,
and
people?
woke.
King Richard.
All right, well that gets ready because of course I'm streaming and it's gonna give me a hard time probably. Oh, because the chat room playing. Of course. Here, I got this.
All these other concerts.
Here we go. So if you're not familiar with King's Riches, he is the angry man of the Pearlyverse. Oh, it really is like no. Oh, there it goes.
Black we are, so we stay there. And they also know, or I know they're kind of.
I love how dude is just straight texting, ignoring him.
Business, or she invested in her business, and it blew up. Then, excuse me, all these other content creators that are getting at you, that are mostly in America, had the opportunity to have a similar operation where they could have put their money into their stuff, made a studio.
What? What's this guy talking about? Yo, Pearl's dad invested in her work. How do you think she got the studio? How do you think she got the you know, the funding? All right. This bad boy's not happy. Might have to call it. Computer said, I don't know.
With all these big YouTubers, and they didn't do it. They
didn't want to do it. Listen, they don't. Listen, bruh.
They
like,
don't want
all,
to
it's
do
never
it.
all, yeah.
Wow.
But let me tell you this. As you gotta understand, my channel was created while I was still in the States. Yeah, everybody that's been watching my channel knows that, right? So this is an American channel. That's why it's marketed to a lot of American people, right? And I was still in America, and I was trying to collab with loads of people, bro. I was trying to collab with everyone.
Which is why he's so angry.
Care, bro. And guess what?
None of them would respond. And that's probably the circle he was around. I know he was around, and it's a bummer. I feel bad for him for that. But, you know, that's this game. That's the YouTube thing. I've already hit a bunch of people for interviews. I could just call famous people to get them to interview, but I wanted to do YouTube people. So, you know. Everybody thinks of themselves differently. So, I feel bad for him in this case.
It was only
but not overall. Okay, let's get this straight.
84, I'll never forget him. He collabed with me, you know, a few other people, but none of these people cared about me, bro. None of them, bro. They didn't care. They didn't want to hear the opinions of a black British guy in America. They didn't care. Do you get what I'm saying? So, and most of them, let's keep it real. A lot of you, not all, but there is a percentage of you that don't see any black person from outside of America as black. You're not black.
That's weird.
You're whatever
I don't get that.
We're the only black people. But now we're black when it suits you because now there's a narrative. So now you're black now, like. But then if you say something I don't like, you're an African, or you're Jamaican, you're this, you're that, you're tether. Which I find that tether talk to be very offensive, to be honest. I know some people may say it's you know, it's just a thing. No, that is said to be in a derogatory way. Oh, they're just tethers.
it's all it is just to drive a wedge between black folks globally. And then think about it like people working together is their biggest fear, because it's like, and I hate to use the overused word plantation, but that's literally what it is.
And the thing is, I've always had the mentality that black people should work together. Yeah, black people should collaborate. I'm not saying we all have to be, we are the world, but I'm just saying that, like, you know, I could be Nigerian, my producer could be Ghanaian, my colleagues could be American. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, if we have just that common understanding of, okay, we're not opposition. Do you get what I'm saying? Just because this guy's winning doesn't mean that he's taking away.
Meanwhile,
from this kind of mentality. But there's a lot
everybody
of like,
who comes on who doesn't agree with you gets yelled at.
And it can be on any side. It's not. I'm not just saying it's African Americans. It could be on any side who like to be victims, bro. They prefer to have that victim. Oh, it's because of them. That's why I can't. You know, I'm not getting opportunity because that one is doing that. But bro, it just shows how like narrow-minded a lot of people are. Because if you can only see in your vision that, oh, another person of another nationality would.
Uh-oh, what happened there? Hey, who's on my internet?
The same skin color as you is your biggest opposition to your success, you're sadly mistaken. You're an idiot. You're an idiot.
Definitely. And one thing that, not to get off of what you were just saying, but disturbed me the most is that some of these Black American content creators are so keen on trying to make the African employees of Pearly act like they have no agency, or they just bow over.
Oh, isn't that the constant though? It's the otherism. Like, oh, they couldn't understand. They're not like us. You know, everybody, you know. No, they're all the same. They couldn't possibly understand. And they aren't as inclusive as I am. What? Yeah, it never. Yeah, I don't feel sorry for him either. Especially like the Myrong or Freshed. I can tell that apartment smells like axe and balls. Feet and axe. Lots of axe and like the boxes, the inside of the boxes that watches come in. That's what that apartment smells like. Oh, and stripper vanilla spray. I think they have just a big pump when they walk in. I guarantee it. I don't feel bad for him either. I feel bad for the culture being affected by it. Because a lot of it is a subset of advertisement systems that were put into place quite some time ago. Yeah, I truly do imagine that when you walk in there, it smells like a strip club. Except it doesn't have like that salty layer. It just has like jerk chicken in the background or what's down there? They're in Miami, so it's yeah, it smells like Cuban coffee. It's terrible. Yeah, it's really telling that none of these guys can take any pushback. That they get very upset, they get frustrated, they lash out, they make fun of people, they're pejorative when they're these big strong alphas. Okay, so let me talk about alpha for a second. The engagement of that term is funny to me because alpha and beta are military references. They aren't in charge or not in charge. Alpha is like sergeant. Beta is like, you know, what's next down the line? Sergeant and then a private. Okay? Gamma is a soldier that works from the outside. So, like an assassin. The hierarchy is Omega. Sigma. Sigma is the guy who talks into the Omega's ear and carries out the orders. He's the smart gap and the intelligentsia. Or she. They. And then Kappa. And Kappa is like Gamma. Kappa is normally the Machiavellian, middle management. That's the character who is in the shadows for the larger organization. You may know who Sigma is. It's less likely to know who Omega is, but Omega is the boss. It's the one who has nobody above him or her. So it's Omega, the actual lead, Sigma, right-hand man or woman, or they, them, they, whatever here, beers. Kappa, that's like in charge of intelligence gathering. Ninja, put it on ninja, not assassin, ninja, higher level, not to be confusing. Now you got Gamma. Gamma's on the outside. Gamma can become Alpha. Gammas do in the world of nature and like lions. Gammas do become Alpha. Not the Beta. Other Alphas don't become Alpha. Alpha get kicked out, become Gamma. So when Andrew Tate and all these guys are like, I'm a big alpha. Yeah, you are the guy we send out to war. Straight ahead and be like, run on in there, Johnny. Take this with you. No, I swear it works. Just run straight over that cliff. No. We just need you to do it because you're a big, strong alpha. No, you don't need to wash your balls. Everybody loves that scent. Run that way. Yeah. Anyhow, I've gone way off topic. I've done about 2 hour 30. I think it's working. I'm going to come back on tomorrow, a little refreshed. I really appreciate you being here. I'm so glad you could join me. And getting to talk with you about these things means a lot to me. That we can go through this and just look at this and culturally kind of view from the outside in and see the holes and these prisons that hold us to standards that don't mean anything. They aren't good for anybody. They don't pay off for any of us. And the real key here is that the prison that's created by these interior arguments, by these monolithic ideas, by these bigotries that we carry with us, that we spread to others so that we can feel validated and part of something. These are a con that we bought for ourselves like a ticket to Magic Mountain. We didn't know that we were buying into something we couldn't get out of. But we bought it because everybody else was going. And that's what it seems like. And you're welcome, Organic Black. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you. And as I was just about to say, in the end of the day, the only thing we can do to help ourselves and help others is look up! I'm still here.